Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Point Virgule Art et Culture. Bonsoir tout le monde et merci de brancher Point Virgule Art et Culture. Ce soir, tonight we are broadcasting live from Long Beach, California. And tonight we are celebrating also innovation as resistance and technology as a tool for Black empowerment. In a world where inequality still decides who gets access, who gets seen, and who gets left behind, BlackTech Meetup rises as a movement, reclaiming space, voice, and value. It's about building bridges, not walls, linking Black and Brown communities through code, creativity, and connection, turning innovation into inheritance, turning opportunity into ownership. With a collective buying power nearing $2 trillion, our communities have the wealth, but not always the circulation. We have the brilliance, but not always the backing. And that's where BlackTech Meetup steps in to make sure our values, our data, our dreams stay home, grow roots, build legacy. Our guest tonight, Richard Nellhaus, Director of Operations, and Adam Cole, Director of Finance, and other young talents that are not here with us tonight are architects of this vision. Through membership, training, and community collaboration, they are equipping a new generation of to not just enter tech, but to own it with confidence, purpose, and pride. So stay with us because tonight we explore how innovation becomes identity, how collaboration becomes currency. Guys, gentlemen, thank you for accepting our invitation. And it's a really honor to have you here. Again, I'm Point Virgule. So, what I would like to ask you both, tell us a bit about your journey and how your career has evolved to where you are today, both of you. Who wants to go first?
Yeah. I guess, we've known each other since we were in high school. So we go far back. And then in college, we were roommates. We were in track and field together all 4 years. And we set out to be entrepreneurs while we were in school. Graduated during one of the worst times, which is the 2008 recession. But we had the mindset of becoming entrepreneurs, so we decided to do a pitch competition, and we came up with a platform to staff bars and restaurants in Miami Beach. Fast forward a couple of years into our journey, we raised $250,000, and we ended up moving to New York City to pursue our dreams to become tech founders. Now, for us, Miami Beach was a tough place because in 2008 there were hardly any opportunities, so we tried our best to build some traction. So while it was difficult, we figured out it would be better to go to a place where they had a bigger tech ecosystem, because the tech ecosystem was non-existent at the time. So New York City was just like an easier place to go than it was for the born from. Yeah. So we decided to go there. Adam can tell you his part, but I think what the reason why we started BlackTech Meetup is because it was really difficult for us to raise money. It was difficult for people to understand what we're trying to do while we were in Miami. People weren't taking it serious, so a lot of hurdles we had to jump through. Yeah. So by the time we landed on our feet, got careers, or I started working at in 2016, I asked Adam, I'm like, hey man, I think it's time for us to create an opportunity to help bridge the gap for people like you and I, because we finally made it. Granted, our startup didn't really pan out the way we expected, but it gave us an opportunity to leave Miami and go to New York and build our careers. So essentially, BlackTech Meetup was an idea where Adam and I wanted to essentially move roadblocks for Black professionals that look like us and help them navigate their foot through the door with technology. But I can get Adam his story.
Yeah. And I have to remind everyone that Meta, not everybody knows that Meta is Facebook.
Yeah.
That was the old name for
Yeah, so it was Facebook when I joined Meta.
Yeah. All right. So Adam?
Yeah. It was evolution for us. Being able to adapt to first of all, again, as Rich mentioned, we graduated 2008. I wanted to get into banking. I'm a banker by day. That's where my experience is. And that's what I did when I got to New York in 2013, and we built a career on that. And when Rich came to me with the idea, I was all for it. Really demystifying, how you get into the industry. I literally watched Rich go from, various recruiting companies to landing at Meta, and then of course from us building our own business, raising capital, and then how it panned out for us, trying to help other people understand. Okay, how do you build a product? How do you raise that capital? What are some of the pitfalls to look out for? And the idea to really help increase the probability of success and scaling businesses, and even increasing people's careers as far as climbing the ladder, whichever path they may decide to go.
Yeah. So, BlackTech Meetup for me is a special initiative. So, what really sparked that vision? I know you guys really want to make a difference, but what really sparked that vision to start?
So for me, I can tell you this, right? I was grateful to be working in tech in New York. So I'm like, hey, my goal when I left Miami was to essentially get a job working for a big company, whether it's Google or Facebook, and I did it, right? And once I got there, I'm like, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to stay. And what I noticed, and I didn't see anyone that looked like me, who's positions. Didn't see a lot of Black faces in my team or around the office. So I was a recruiter at Facebook, hiring directors, engineering leaders for the company, and I was tasked with hiring diverse talent. And what I noticed is that there was a lot of interest in hiring more Black Latinos for the company, but when they interviewed, a lot of them were leaving money on the table, right? They weren't asking for what they deserved, they were just happy to be there. And when they got there, the company didn't stay long because of different questions. So I noticed that, there was an opportunity for us to do something about it. Because I don't know, if we see a challenge, we're going to give us an opportunity to do something. So we decided to, create the nonprofit. And what was great about it is that at the time working at Facebook, I had a lot of time to build out programs. So I asked them if they would be okay if we were to partner with our nonprofit. They were accepted to it. So we came up with different ideas on things we saw that were valuable. Having private dinners with Black professionals across New York City and talking about microaggressions. And we got a lot of good ROI based off of that because now it was a safe space for Black professionals to connect. And one event that we did, our first real event that we did, was the demystifying working in tech. We partnered with Twitter. It was a Facebook and Twitter event hosted by BlackTech Meetup. So our very first event, we had 500 Black professionals in a room, and we brought in salespeople, marketing, tech, and finance from the tech background to talk to people from different backgrounds, whether we're in finance and sports, and demystifying what it's like working in tech. And that event actually helped Facebook and Twitter get 6 employees hired for that. So that was just like a good use case. And that's kind of what sparked that.
Yeah. You want to add something, Adam?
Yeah, I would say Rich was the initial spark. So of course, like I mentioned, I was in banking, but Rich found a gap that needed to be filled that we could bridge. And that problem that he saw as he was hiring, Black professionals in the tech community is happens across all industries, right? Like I'm in finance, the demographic of that field. And then me with aspirations of having a personal tech company that I'm building, was already interested because, I want to be able to, hire Black professionals, scale a business, and create something that we can, grow and create an ecosystem where everybody's winning.
Wow, that's very interesting. So, pretty much, there's a gap in that field, in the tech field, and also in the entrepreneurial field. So, do you guys feel that you are making a difference in that sense now, bridging the gap between Black and brown and other ethnicities that are in the same field?
Absolutely. I feel like one of the things that Rich and I like to do is track, the type of, changes and progression that we're making within our community. So, even from the down to when we're doing events, we try to hire Black vendors, right? Black and brown vendors, whether it's, photographers, videographers, food vendors, venues. And then, as Rich just mentioned, these events, you might have hires come from these opportunities, whether with Twitter and Facebook or Meta, where you're now in a room with people who otherwise you might not have been in, right? And learning about the industry. So we really feel like we're changing because we don't just talk about it. We always want our community to leave with something, whether that's talking to me or Rich, whether that's an introduction to a potential investor in your business, or somebody that's a recruiter at Netflix or Meta or Google, which we have those people in our community that help advise on, okay, if you're applying for a position, right? This is what you need to know. This is what the expectations are, and to help increase the probability of getting that role. So we like to track a lot of that information, and then also we're angel investors. We've invested in a number of businesses in our own friends and family rounds where we see the vision of the owner, of the founders. Oftentimes, they've all been Black founders. And we're trying to literally put our money where our mouths are and bet on our community and what our vision, what we're trying to accomplish.
And pretty much, Richard, as the operation director, how do you make sure that programs like BlackTech Mentorship and BlackTech Learning, because people also learn when you guys support them, when you guys get them involved. So how do you know what is really needed to provide to them?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. And no one size fits all. When you run a mentorship program and you work with people, you have to meet people where they are. So for us, we take a step where we want to, interview every single person that applies for our mentorship program so we can meet them where they are, right? So if someone is a junior in college and they're trying to they're doing computer science and they're like, hey, my goal is to work for a tech startup. So trying to understand the why behind that, right? And trying to see how can we help them within that particular field, right? So we try to pair those individuals with people that have similar backgrounds. Our first mentorship cohort, we had folks from Nigeria, from all around the world, and luckily for us, our network is so dense. We have so many people, we're able to connect people that have similar backgrounds as well. So there's a lot of different things we have to navigate coming to America itself. So ensuring that the Black experience is like different, you know what I mean? We're not monolithic. So we try to ensure like we're giving those folks an opportunity to connect with similar people. And the question here that we ask, ensure like we're getting feedback that we're providing feedback to. One thing that happens great is we don't just focus on tech. What's called work opportunities, right? Like, how do you navigate when you're like trying to balance your money, Adam's products, presidents that are connection lines, right? Those are the things that think about okay, so we definitely take a holistic approach, and again, it's going to be like a one size, not going to be one size fits all, but we just kind of where you are. Yeah, we like a survey and see if like it was valuable.
Yeah. You guys make it sound easy. The way you articulate it and the way I see you guys function. What are the biggest challenges in scaling those programs to, and how do you tackle them? Because, like you said, it's not a one size fits all. You have to tailor it based on the needs and the attitude of the mentee. So, how do you? What are the biggest challenges you guys face, and how do you really overcome?
I'll jump in really quick. I think some of the biggest challenges from the mentor side, is really making sure that we have people that are on the same mindset that we are, right? Because you have to dedicate that time. Our mentors are all volunteer based, right? And they are leaders in their respective organizations, right? So having the time to do that and then matching them up with the mentees, and our mentees have to take it serious as well. Some of them in college, and we've had mentees that have missed appointments, right? Or they're late, and you have to be serious about this if you want to be successful and not miss the boat. So it's part of the challenge about scaling it is finding those people with the right mindset and really shifting through the applications and making sure we're getting the right mentees, we're getting the right mentors, and working around the schedule so that everything matches up to get the full benefit of the actual program.
Yeah. And what are the biggest challenges that you have as Black professionals that you and founders are facing? Because I know we as Blacks, we always have to do more. And how do you guys deal with those challenges and in that specific field in the tech where we are minority?
I mean, there's a lot of power in community, right? So that's the whole point of what we do. We understand their challenges, but it's important that we come together and have a meaningful conversation. I can give you an example of an event that we hosted around imposter syndrome, right? A lot of people feel like imposter syndrome in the room that don't speak about themselves. So we have like places where we have safe spaces and we talk about those. Now, the challenges we're all going to face those. All about how to overcome. Because one thing that I've known to be true for myself and other folks is learning from people's lived experience is important, right? So if you see a leader who you respect and hearing about their experience, how they overcome certain challenges, that kind of gives you some type of sense of fulfillment. I can see that happening. And again, I think that that's some of the ways that we found to how to overcome those barriers. And again, it's just like knowing your value add. So one thing that I've done is I've managed teams in North America and Europe, I've managed a lot of Black professionals, is having somebody that can advocate for you when you're in those roles that look like you as well, right? Leadership positions, it doesn't have to be someone that actually works on a particular team, but someone that has power. Because I think if you can show your value add whatever company you're working for, and there's people that look like you that can advocate for you, whether you don't have a relationship with the manager, that can help you stay in your career and level up.
And I'd just like to add to that. That really covers a lot of the professional side. From the founder side, I mean, the most obvious challenge is capital, right? We all know the statistics. Less than 1% of investment capital go to Black and brown founded companies, and that's a huge gap. And part of that is on our side, one, knowing how to provide, or knowing that if we need venture capital, number one, and two, kind of hitting those marks on what venture capital companies are looking for. So preparation and understanding, how to build a business, how to, speak with VCs, and that's part of that gap that we're trying to bridge. Because capital is the number one thing. I mean, we have a ton of great ideas, right? But it's without the capital, a lot of us stay stagnant, and we end up not moving anywhere. And so capital being one of the biggest challenges that I see. And it's getting harder now. And now that we've moved out of the pandemic where, there was so much dry powder out there that, these institutions and these VCs were investing in almost anything. Now it's you really have to build a business with a path of profitability. And it has to make sense, right?
Yeah.
Something that's going to change the future. That's what they're looking for, the next biggest thing. And they want to write big checks, but your idea has to be big. You have to have an idea that's going to be, profitable at some point, right? And you can't just grow at all costs. So things are changing, but those are some of the biggest challenges that we face.
Yeah. And speaking of capital, and since you are in finance, you probably are aware of those statistics that a dollar and spend only once in the Black community, and in the Asian community, it's like about 16 times, and the Latin community is about 8 to 10 times. So that means there's something that's happening. It's not that we don't have the resources. It's probably the way we allocated the resource, and we don't really spend, like we should mention at the beginning. We need to spend those resources in our own community so we can build strength financially.
And so those statistics are, the Black dollar circulates within our community for about 6 hours.
6 hours.
Whereas, like in the Asian community, it's about 26 days, something like that, or it's almost a month, right? And part of that, I mean, and going back to just the mindset, anybody that Rich and I decide to partner with, and with the camera, I just got to be serious about this. You have to have the same mindset. There's plenty of money out there for everybody. And if we don't work together, invest in each other, and make a conscious effort to invest in each other, we're not going to move forward. So part of the ecosystem that we're building with BlackTech Meetup, as Rich mentioned, it's a holistic view, right? you build a company, you invest in the company, you help that company scale, you hire the same people that's within BlackTech Meetup, and it keeps going, right? It becomes self-sustaining, right? So we're providing the workers, we're providing the investment, we're providing the jobs, and it just keeps going. That person sells their business and they reinvest into the other businesses within the community. It starts as little as support for buying a product, right? Not asking for discounts, but really wanting to support a business. And, if it's a good product, buy the product. If it's not a good product, maybe support once and then, not support again. But like, that's the only way we make a change. And even if we move from 6 hours to 7 hours, 10 hours, that's something that's moving the needle a little bit within our community and helping more money come into our pockets. And it's just like, we're just exchanging capital, right? Yeah. So that's how we look at it.
And how does BlackTech Meetup support people at different stages? Because you don't just support people that just are fresh from college and whatever the people that need career.
We support people that are let's say for the folks that are like mid-level, they're just trying to figure out how to get to that leadership level. But also events around that, so we sure like they're meeting them where they are. We'll have like leadership panel discussions, folks that navigate overcoming, issues where they're just trying to level up in their career. So we have a lot of those conversations, or even just dealing with turbulence, right? I think one event that Adam and I did 2021, it was before all the layoffs started. We knew that was happening. So one of the talks was really focusing on how to ensure that we're working on high priority projects in your career, how to kind of stay relevant so that way if layoffs do come, you're not going to get like work out and less like right. So we try to ensure like we are always meeting each everyone where they are. And one of our staple events, honestly, is our building your cloud with raising capital. The reason why that is important with that it's we're not monolithic, meaning that we do more than what we see, right? Yeah, we may have a baseline job, but a lot of us are entrepreneurs outside of our job, right? So we have most events where we're bringing in founders that have successfully built their business, raised capital, bringing in we're also bringing venture capitalists or angel investors who invest in these type of companies. And we'll also bring up a product management engineer who built and scale, and we'll have those conversations with those people about like how to build a more viable product, raise capital, and do networking where those people that have great ideas meet with like a VC or meet with an engineer who actually on scale. So those are the type of things that we really found.
Yeah. I'm curious to know how has it been very effective, like in attracting partners who truly share that same vision? Because I'm sure in the Black and Brown community, there are people sharing that same vision and the vision of Black ownership and Black empowerment.
Yeah. And Rich could talk about this extremely well. I mean, one of our, we have people that are part of our organization, like the MBA Foundation, right? Where they kind of include us on their events. We had an event during LA Tech Week where not only do we have founders and VCs in the room, but also the MBA Foundation released information that, they're going to have a pitch competition and the application will open the next day, right? I wouldn't say it was breaking news, but like essentially everybody that was in that room had the first opportunity to know about what's going to happen and what the MBA Foundation does. Every All-Star weekend, they have a pitch competition.
Yeah.
The winners, I think, is $250,000, $200,000 is split between, a couple winners. But the applications start in December, and then you kind of go through rounds of pitching, and then the last, the final like 6 or 7 companies pitch during All-Star weekend. And so those are opportunities that our community don't know about oftentimes, right? And then you see, the panel, or you see the people that are pitching, and you're like, okay, when was this going to be advertised to the rest of us? So it's people like that help us get in and create partnerships so that we can deliver this information to our community, right? And I know Rich has plenty of examples, but we try to partner with those type of like-minded individuals so that we can help create equity across the board.
Yeah. You want to add anything? Okay. All right. Okay. There is one question. You mentioned that you collaborate with young kids coming, young professionals coming from Africa and so on. What about the Caribbean? Because I'm very curious. We have Haitians in our community also who are looking for guidance in that sense and who have great ideas and they would like to have mentors and resources that you guys are offering. So how they can really reach out and leverage those resources. Or are you guys planning on probably implanting yourself in having branches like in Africa, having branches in Haiti, Jamaica?
Yeah, they can talk about the event in Ghana.
Yeah, so we did it.
Oh.
And then we also did an event earlier this year in South Africa, right? Did a member community in South Africa. But you just pop ups because a lot of our community we're all traveling to those areas. We're not opposed to it. We don't have any formalized plans to do that, but we are open to that prospect of like maybe extending an olive branch to those professionals that need some guidance support having them connect with people in the space, right? But that's something that we have on our roadmap, but having.
But then also to kind of hedge, like our mentorship program is working. So even if you are in any of those countries,
you can access.
Yeah, you can access the mentorship program and our virtual event. Like it goes out to all of our members.
Yeah. So I'm going to show our people who are watching that one of the events that I have a short video. I want to show them that we are talking about something serious. So take a look.
I'm Rich Nellhaus, co-founder of the Bird Collective. Our primary aim is to amplify Black professionals and foster a strong community. That's why we create spaces like this one here at the Whitney, where we connect in person through insightful panel discussions, meaningful networking, and by championing Black artists.
What's up on the time? What's up on the time? When I just did try, when I just did try. When I drop a song, I go need to dance.
All right, so we are back. What I would like to ask you guys, we have Black
BlackTech Meetup.
BlackTech Meetup, and we also have BRG.
The bird.
What's the bird about?
Yeah, so Bird Collective, BRG Collective, stands for Black Employment Resource Group Collective. Funny enough, I can tell you a quick story. When Adam and I had our first BlackTech Meetup event with Twitter and Facebook, I got approached to about 10 different companies, NBC, Universal, NBA, NFL, and we were Black leaders for those employment resource groups, and they asked if I would be interested in forming a collective to share best practices. Because at the time, at Facebook, I was actually leading the Black research group at Facebook for I led for 8 years, and I said yes. Fast forward to that time, since I was one of the co-founders in 2020, pandemic happened, I decided to turn to a 501c3 nonprofit. The beautiful thing about the Bird is that it's not just tech focused, it's industry agnostic, where we support everyone, whether you're sports, entertainment, tech, and the fact that a lot of crossover between what we do with the Bird and BTM, Adam and I made the decision to essentially bring BlackTech Meetup under the Bird, so that way we're closer to the stone. We do get a lot of opportunities, a lot of crossover with people we support and the companies that we partner with. So that's pretty much how BTM and Bird came together. But the Bird Collective, we host events in New York City and LA. We have over 10,000 members that are part of our community. We have 50 companies, Fortune 500 organizations that are part of Bird. We meet once a month as a leadership team and host events that probably average anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 people. The video you just showed was at the Whitney Museum in New York City, and that was a 5,000 person event that we put together, and it was kickoff for Amy Sherrill, the iconic portrait great to be a part of both those organizations. Adam and I are both and we have a large team now, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much the work.
Wow. I don't know where you guys find the time to do all of this. And but this is really great to get involved and make a difference. Also to make sure you build a future for yourself and also for other people in our community. And in the work, because anyone who wants to really join with that, regardless of their skin color, if they fall into I would say the same category of they need the support.
Absolutely.
And we just need to build bridges, right?
Yes.
Not building walls.
Yes.
So that is great. So it's already 8:33, guys. We're gonna take a short break, and we will be back in about 2.5 minutes.
Miami accueille la grande dame de la littérature haïtienne, Yannick Laes. Yannick Laes, nominé pour le prix Goncourt et le prix de l'Académie française du roman 2025, sera à Miami le 1er novembre de 4h de l'après-midi à 8h du soir. À l'invitation de Doing Community Haïti, en partenariat avec le ministère de la Culture, le Consulat général d'Haïti à Miami, la Direction nationale du livre, la ACOF et le CMS International Group. Rendez-vous à Green Space Miami, 7200 Biscayne Boulevard pour une conférence, un hommage et une vente signature. Et le soir venu, 2742 Fanston Street à Hollywood, hommage à Madame Laes avec une soirée de poésie en l'honneur de René Depestre. Et le groupe String sera là pour animer cette belle soirée. Entrée libre avec seulement un livre au prix de $50. Pour information, 786 222 64 34 ou 786 561 53 61.
Un moment unique pour célébrer la littérature, la poésie et Haïti.
Avec le support des docteurs Sabrine Semoin, Alix Charles, Eurol Noël, Claude Losandier. Supporté également par Miami Marketing Strategy, Laufin, Franck Desjulien, Carrie at Home, Primary Medical Care Center, Quincy Media Network, Radio Haïti Amérique Internationale, Giveaway Radio, Pharmacie Joradana, Famoda, Gogo Communication et Alliance Informatique, le réseau en formation universitaire et technique.
1er novembre, Miami.
La Isa te gen ti fi, yo te rele l'Benita. Li te tellement si belle que yo balti non fleur de Paris. La Isa te gen ti fi, yo te rele l'Benita. Li te tellement si belle que yo balti non fleur de Paris. C'est pour Maria Benita. Comme ta voyage en avion, retourner en satellite, comme ça marié à Benita. Si c'est pour l'argent même, ça pas fait jamais un problème. Et moins qu'on aime gagner, ça y un garçon de poulet. La Isa te gen ti fi, yo te rele Benita. Il te tellement si belle que yo parti non fleur de Paris. La Isa te gen ti fi, yo te rele Benita. Il te tellement si belle que yo parti non fleur de Paris. C'est pour Maria Benita. Comme ta voyage en avion, retourner en satellite, comme ça marié à Benita. Si c'est pour l'argent, mais ça va faire jamais un problème. Et moi qu'on aime gagner, ça y un garçon moi pour le gagner.
Mes amis, tendez, prends papier, prends crayon pour nous écrire. Samedi 8 novembre, nostalgie la caille. Jou ça, il y a très pique les HS Music qui va passer pour tout le monde à la One Badet pour la guerre au Mango Grove 185-50 Southwest 134e Street. Et c'est un baillon bon pied mango que nous pourrons revivre l'époque 90 yo. Très longtemps dans le pays d'Haïti. En pile musique époque ça yo pral tomber avec DJ Frankie Mixelot et DJ Taleb. En bas c'est mon go ça yo, l'en vira droite nous pral ouais l'auberge Keskoff côté banan pesé griot akra ak marinade a perdu la vie yo. L'en vira à gauche n'a point direction mon oui. Et c'est là nous pral joindre bon jalon bibou connaît homard ak poisson frit. Pourquoi nous toutes songer la ripote au prince ak machin de sirette, machin fresco, cham pistache grillé comme calé. C'est toute bagaille ça yo qui pral faire que nous contents dans aucune fête culturelle ça le 8 novembre. Et puis dans Mango Grove là, nous passons aussi pour déposer. En pile là nous pouvons jamais tendre. Mais là nous fin danser, nous pas jamais oublier. Haïtiens tout côté, pas rater tout ça.
All right, we are back. Okay, so I would like to say thank you to a few people watching with us. Et m'a remercier premièrement Trisha Cole. Merci Trish. Thank you very much for following us. And I have Jules Grand-Pierre. Merci Dr. Grand-Pierre. Miguel Pierre. Quelle surprise. All right, let me see. Miguel says, Rich, good evening. Nice to see you on the show. Tonicité. Wow. All right. Merci, Miguel. We have Guy Jusset. Merci very much, Guy. Merci beaucoup de brancher. Waltrid. Merci, Antiwal. Thank you. Léline Cornell. Merci. Marie Dorset. Simon, oh, merci Marraine. Et Junior Rémi, merci infiniment. Rodin George, wow. Et moi dans Los Angeles, dis Jimmy que moi dans ville là, ok? Moi Los Angeles. All right. Rodrigue George, merci. Et t'es dit que son pas bon, monsieur t'es que son bon gognard. D'accord. Et puis, qui est encore qui là? Bon, moi, nous gagnons Gary Rémi, bonsoir. Nous gagnons Haitian Connection, Yolène. Merci Yolène de nous suivre. Puis, nous gagnons Jocelyne Baptiste. Merci Jocelyne. Et nous qui avons suivi aussi, nous pas fait commentaire, malheureusement, nous pas carré nous pour nous saluer, pour nous remercier. Donc, moi, remercier nous. Nous avons émission sans anglais la fête à soi et moi remercie tout le monde qui fait sacrifice quand même de suivre nous. So thank you very much guys for following us. So we're gonna continue with our conversations with Adam and Richard. So and your host is Exxon Granny, broadcasting live from Los Angeles, from Long Beach, California. This is what Point Legal is about. We are all over the place. And then thank you, Rich, for hosting the show. You're a host. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You know? So, okay. Moving on, guys. How are you approaching new frontiers like AI, data science, and cybersecurity? Because there's a lot of things going on out there when it comes to those topics.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal perspective, it's really educating myself on the different types of AIs that are out there. And you know, I'm literally journey into the new, stuff outside of finance, right?
Yeah.
It, like from vibe coding to like helping my day become more efficient, the consumption of information. So really understanding, how to use those products as tools and become more efficient and then learn along the way. Rich, you look like you want to add something there. Oh yeah, I mean, and I encourage everybody to do it while it's still affordable, right? Because at some point these AI models, these LLMs, they're gonna have to start turning a profit, and before you know it, again, it's gonna be another situation where our community could be left out because we're just priced out. And so while they're free, while they're $20 a month, I encourage everybody to explore as much as you can. Learn the different type of models, compare them against each other, build products. You can literally build products. If you have an idea, you can go out there, find whether it's Replit, whether it's Lovable, or Claude. You can build product now just to have an MVP on your hands to show somebody that, okay, this is my idea. This is what I've been always trying to build, but I just didn't have the bandwidth or the capital to do it. Go out there and do it now. Like, you have no excuse. We're encouraging everybody to do this now.
Yeah. All right. You want to add something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is to get a tool, not more than that. I feel like AI kind of replace you, but it can help with your day to day, with certain tasks, like whether it's, hey, I need to do a research project and using AI to help me with that. For me, personally, because I work full time for myself, I use AI to answer my phones, take notes. Like, it's so crazy things you do with AI. It's remarkable. Yeah, everything adds that.
Yeah. So how do you guys also, we know school doesn't always prepare for really the real world. How do you guys bridge that gap between what is taught in classroom and what is really needed in the tech world and also in the entrepreneurial world? How do you guys try to bridge the gap with your organization?
I think one thing that I like to do, companies so they can see what work. So when I'm working at Facebook, I would post students from New York City. I work at Facebook New York, and we'll bring high school and college students, give them a tour, and then we'll have like a small little panel discussion of people with different backgrounds that are working recruiters and working in sales and engineers, and they kind of just talk about their experience as what they do their day to day, so you kind of get a feel of what the real world looks like for them. Once they're done with school, and ask any question they may have. Shout out people while working. So those type of things that's what helping them bridge the gap.
Yeah. So if I were to ask you to tell us about a success story that really captures BlackTech Meetup and values and impact, what would be that success story if you guys can share? Because you guys been around for
Since 2017.
2017, that's about 8 years.
Yeah.
It's funny. Our mentorship program is not hard, right? Adam and I knew that you can go alone at this. That's the reason why we do so much. High numbers. So people that we met along the lines, we actually started growing a team, right? We have a strong team of individuals that work at different companies. So one of our mentorship, one of our director of programs is Lee Jones, who worked at Google. Yeah, this was his brainchild. Adam and I thought it would be great to have him run this program. And funny enough, our first cohort, we had a girl, I mean, first was on her last name, but she was out of work, didn't have a job, went through our mentorship program, and after our mentorship program, she could get a job, right?
Yeah.
And fast forward 2 years afterwards, I was asked to go to DC to speak at a Black Health Tech Conference. And funny enough, she was the person introducing me on stage, so that was like a crazy experience. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the moment where I'm like, this is a person that was in school, didn't have a job, went through our program, and she so happened to be introducing me on stage at the campus. So it was just an amazing feeling because I'm like, I knew she looked familiar, So that shows that our program, that's
shout out KJ, shout out Dion, shout out Evel, shout out Javon, TJ, all part of the team.
Yeah.
And I'll just have, there's other opportunities, right? Like, so for example, just from a values perspective, we ran into people where, like, one of the companies we invested in from a friends and family around foodie, we heard the idea, we like love the founders, right? And we invested in the company. And from there, I mean, the relationship kind of continued to grow. And the founder of that company has lots of connections. And that's the reason why we got connected with MPJ, right? It was him. And that was us just living our values and again, putting our money where our mouth is, supporting our community, those that are in it. And we reap the benefits, and we didn't ask for anything. We liked the idea. And we invested, and then, they helped us along our journey in BlackTech Meetup.
All right, so we are 12 minutes away from the end of the show. We're going to take a short break, and we will return.
Tired of manual operations? BG Online School Management Software streamlines tasks, reduces costs, boosts efficiency, and enhances student engagement. Email bg13@bayardgerson.com for a free 15-minute consultation.
All right, guys, so we are back to the show. Guys, tell me, between events or program side, because there's a lot of events going on, a lot of programs going on, how do you keep the energy and engagement going? Because every day something is happening. How do you keep going with the same energy, same determination?
I mean, for me,
I know you guys are young.
I mean, I can just say, like, it just is refreshing just to be around like-minded people, and I think that's what gives me life and strength to be able to do this. I never feel like I'm working when I'm around our people doing these events, because it feels like, this is something that we've always wanted for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's something that we didn't see growing up in Miami. Unfortunately for us, we didn't see a lot of Black professionals after we graduated college. And that was the main reason for us wanting to leave and do what we're doing. So now that we're in a position to essentially give back to our community by something that we are passionate about, I don't get tired from that, And funny enough, Adam and I, for the first time, went back to Florida, where we went to school and actually spoke at a conference, a couple of weeks ago. So that was like a refreshing feeling, because that was the reason we left and we came back home, and actually were able to drop some gems on our experience. So I think that's what keeps us going. And it's always something new, Adam could tell you a little bit more about how many opportunities come our way, too.
I mean, yeah, after each event, we post and follow up. So that's what we guys, we meet various different founders, they're looking for funding, they're looking for advising, looking to review, their pitch decks, and even just bounce ideas off of us. So, like, what kind of keeps me energetic is learning about these new Black businesses, figuring out ways that we can support, figuring out ways that we can partner, and how we can help in any way. And we're honest. I mean, sometimes we're not able to help, but the thing is, even if it's an introduction to somebody that, and if it's a new customer, even if it's us, buying a product or whatever, like, that type of stuff really keeps it easier.
Yeah. Now, we do have a serious issue in the Black and brown community, especially in the Black community, where we pretty much are consumers. How BlackTech Meetup and BRG can pretty much convert consumers, those people that are pretty much consumers, even though they are great tech guys, they're making a lot of money, but they consume a lot. And the money is not really reinvested in the community. How do we go about this? How do you guys address that issue also? Do you think it's within the scope of what you do?
It definitely is. One thing that I can touch on, I'm sure Adam can go a little bit deeper with, is we focus on financial literacy, right? So something that we're doing right now that we're launching is a financial empowerment series, which is span over 4 different events, where we're educating our community on, like, how to essentially get out of debt, how to leverage your 401k, how to, and for the people that are well-to-do that, have paid off all their debt, that are high net worth individuals, how to expose them to opportunities where they become accredited investors, where Adam and I are. But I just try to go into a little more detail about how, we can move people from consumers to owners.
Part of the lead by example, again, I mentioned investing in businesses, supporting the product, using platforms to promote. But as was mentioned, one of the main things that the Black community doesn't have access to is primary market. When I say investing in private businesses before they hit the secondary market. So when you see Facebook go public, there are a ton of investors that invest in business before they go public. So a lot of times you see, okay, let's say Facebook goes public for $40 a share. Then it hits the secondary market, and all of a sudden it's $80 a share. $8 a share. And that's people like us, individual investors, going into our respective broker platform, buying that company. But by the time we buy it, we made 10x, right? So, provided when we meet these founders, and they're raising these brands and good friends and family, these are opportunities that, okay, not only support business, but you get to play in the investing game early. So, you invest in private business, but you have to be able to qualify. You have to meet certain standards to do that. But there are some funds that allow non-qualified to invest in these type of businesses. And, it's a risky game, but the upside is investing in the right ones. You get the Ubers of the world, the Facebooks of the world, where you see this huge upside, which you have to be in a very, very particular practice that happens. And so when we get opportunities like this, we send this out to our that, that we know that, hey, based on your background, would you be interested in investing in a bank? Those would be, anywhere from $5,000 to whatever to higher. But it's an easy way to get entry into, like a lot of things. I mean, we can spend that type of money. Right? So it's allowing access.
Yeah, and information is money. Information is vital. So how do we get that kind of what kind of environment you are to be? I mean, you are the finance, you probably have a lot of knowledge about it. But if I'm a Black technician or I'm a young entrepreneur, I would like to have some capital to invest. How do I go about finding the information to do that?
Well, these type of opportunities, they are private, right? So there are a lot of get involved. You have to, you might sign before sharing investment decks of that nature, and then you also have to be a qualified investor. So having a relationship with people like Rich and I, right? That's something we're kind of getting into the rooms and seeing those opportunities. But you have to be in the room also. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself around people that are making these type of investments, around founders, and friends and family. You don't necessarily have to be at the cost of. You can give a friend $3,000 check to invest in the business, and once they continue growing and continue raising capital, whether it's pre-seed, seed, Series A, Series B, etc., you're a part of that growth. So you have to put yourself out. You have to be in the room and attend BTM events, attend Bird events. That's how you do.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna take our last break before the end of the show. It's 8:58 already. Oh my God, time flies when we're having fun. So I would like to thank Baya BG Online School Management. Thank you, Baya Garçon, for tuning in. Merci d'être là ce soir. Comme toujours d'ailleurs. Ou toujours là chaque vendredi soir. Donc, nous avons fait une annonce que vendredi prochain, nous avons gagné Yannick Lyons qui a fait une signature livre qui c'est passagère de nuit et là, point virgule avant que lui allait faire une signature là. Et arrivé qui a fait dans FIU moi passé vidéo déjà, donc on va le passer encore pour que tout le monde songe événement. Et m'a rappelé tout le monde tout que gagner un programme qui va faire dans Casa Champêtre le 14 novembre prochain, c'est un prélude au 18 novembre, et on a gagné un paquet de monde cap là, on a Willy Saint-Louis bien sûr cap là, et on a gagné Point Virgule cap là en direct, on a gagné Carole Demismet, professeur Victor Benoît, on a gagné professeur Capso Desroches, écrivain, et tout ça, l'audienceur. Et nous avons un paquet de monde qui a dans le programme, donc on a plus de détails, l'heure nous gagne affiche qui préparé. Et moi, dans le petit pause encore, pour moi jouer réclame ça, pour événement ça, et puis on a retourné tout de suite.
Miami accueille la grande dame de la littérature haïtienne, Yannick Laens. Yannick Laens, nominé pour le prix Goncourt et le prix de l'Académie française du roman 2025, sera à Miami le 1er novembre de 4h de l'après-midi à 8h du soir. À l'invitation de Doing Community Haïti, en partenariat avec le ministère de la Culture, le Consulat général d'Haïti à Miami, la Direction nationale du livre, la ACOF et le CMS International Group. Rendez-vous à Green Space Miami, 7200 Biscayne Boulevard, pour une conférence, un hommage et une vente signature. Et le soir venu, 2742 Funston Street à Hollywood, hommage à Madame Laens avec une soirée de poésie en l'honneur de René Depestre. Et le groupe String sera là pour animer cette belle soirée. Entrée libre avec seulement un livre au prix de $50. Pour information, 786 222 64 34 ou 786 561 53 61.
Un moment unique pour célébrer la littérature, la poésie et Haïti.
Avec le support des docteurs Sabrine Sémoin, Alix Charles, Erol Noël, Claude Losandier. Supporté également par Miami Marketing Strategy, Law Firm, Franck Desjulien, Curry at Home, Primary Medical Care Center, Quincy Media Network, Radio Haïti Amérique Internationale, Giwewe Radio, Pharmacie Joradana, Famoda, Gogo Communication et Alliance Informatique, le réseau en formation universitaire et technique.
1er novembre, Miami accueille en grande pompe la grande dame Yannick Laens.
All right, we are back, guys. But I put this screen up so people know who those people are in BlackTech Meetup. So we have Richard Nellhaus, we have Adam Cole, who's on my right hand side, and we have Trisha Cole, we have Khalid Jones. Mm-hmm. And Dion, yes. All right. So those are the people behind. That's a power behind BlackTech Meetup. So I would like for you guys to take a picture because those guys are making a great difference out there. They're making an impact in our community. So I would like to ask you guys before we unfortunately end the show, because we could go on and on talking about Black empowerment, Black leadership, and Black wealth as well. Because we always afraid to talk about wealth. People discuss everything, but they don't talk about. They talk about pain. They don't talk about success. And with what you guys are doing, I think they talk about generational pain, but we can also talk about generational success. Like transmitting our success, the success of the community to the community that are to come. So, how do you guys see the Black and brown community in the next 25 years to come? Do you see with people like you doing this, and probably certainly more people will get involved to do the same thing? How do you see the growth?
I can say, for right now, with the current administration, there's a lot of attacks on D&I, which is diversity, equity, and inclusion. And unfortunately, it's a big attack on the Black and Brown community. And with that said, we're going to have a big uptick on layoffs happening. We're going to be impacted the most. Well, I know with that said, I feel like we're the most resilient people in the United States and on the planet. That's just my thought and how I feel about it. And because of that, we're going to figure out other ways to be successful. We're culture shifters, right? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube wouldn't be as successful if it wasn't for us. And because we're going to be in positions to have to figure out ways to make money outside of a day job, I think they're going to see a big uptick in wealth creation from our community. It's already happening during the pandemic. You have organizations like Earn Your Leisure who started their podcast through the pandemic, and now they're a fast-growing organization. They have their own, conferences. So, and I feel like a lot what we're doing with community building, we're seeing a lot of other community builders coming together. And I feel like the real power is going to come us coming together, working together, and building fast, and using AI to help us get there quicker. So I do feel like now the barriers to entry is a lot easier for us, and a lot of us already, we know too much now. So I do feel like there is going to be an increase in the generational wealth for the Black community. That's my 2 cents.
I agree 100%. And when I think of the next generation, next 20 to 25 years, it starts with us. Right? You can pass to them. The blueprint's already there. Right? We don't need to reinvent the wheel. If we build now and have a successful company, pass down to our children in the generation, or if we exit and do the appropriate things with the capital, we have a generation. And that can deploy that they want to do or take over. And that, analysis paralysis, whatever happens, you have to execute. Whether that's investing in the stock market, whether that's investing in yourself. I'm not saying quit your jobs. If you're working at a job, you have a full time, I can work at a job. Learn where the gaps are, whatever experiences you have, and you build a business off of that. That company currently building, like Jensen Wong did with NVIDIA, do that. Something that you love, build something. You want to have that autonomy to be able to build. And I feel like that starts now. We can't wait because we will get left behind if we're not doing this, and it'll make it easier for the next generation.
Very good. And this certainly will take all of us out of that circle of victim where we think we are victims versus victors. So, guys, I really thank you for your time and for your knowledge and for the way you articulate the Black empowerment, the Black leadership, and the Black innovation as well. So I think there's hope for our community. There's hope for the world because your generation is the one that's making the impact. From environmental challenges, financial challenges, and all this, and you guys you have a lot of fight and challenges ahead. Yes. So, and it's not over. We have to keep going. We may fall and stumble, but we're gonna keep going and shake it off and keep running. So again, do you guys wanna add one last thing before we end the show?
Resilience, consistency, be consistent. Don't be afraid to take some risks. Build the product. You have all the tools now. The tools are cheap, and start building for the next generation.
Yeah, we're going through some turbulent times, so I feel like embrace the pain. Look at every opportunity as look at every challenge as an opportunity for growth.
All right. So if you guys want to follow those guys, you can check their website. It's www.blacktechmeetup.org. It's on the screen. You can see it, take a photo, share it with your friends. And I'm reminding everyone, guys, BlackTech Meetup, BlackTech Meetup is a company who's making a big difference. And you guys have to remind people that you're a 501c3. And you're not for profit. You just put in your time, knowledge, and your belief in people out there to make an impact. So thank you so much for what you're doing. And I invite everyone to join us next Friday, and we're gonna be in Miami, broadcasting live again. We're gonna have Yannick Lance as our guest this time. Et bonsoir tout le monde, merci de nous avoir suivis. À vendredi prochain pour une autre émission.